As we discussed in the daily financial news for February 28th, mortgage applications are down. According to one headline I saw, it was the third worst week since 1995. So we're going to have a conversation with Matt, the mortgage guy, and see what's what in mortgage, man. How you doing?
Are you trying to tell me that mortgage rates impact mortgage demand and applications? Say it ain't so, Mike. Uh,
Yeah, I'm here to tell you that 7% really does impact demand. Really does.
it really, really does. And, so like you said, we've got 3 straight weeks of mortgage application numbers declining.
Mhm.
I feel it. The market feels it. The weird thing is that in this environment where there's also very little supply, I've got a client who submit 55,000 above asking, did not get the house. And so, well qualified. Like, we wrote the cleanest offer. The agent is great. The client is great and understands, like, it takes what it takes. I'm going to have to, concede a little bit. $600,000 home.
Oh my
So it's
goodness.
right in that sweet spot in, Roseville, which is close to Sacramento, of, first time home buyer, but it's a beautiful house, desirable neighborhood. And like I've been saying, those homes are hyper competitive. You might find something that sat for 28 days if it's rougher neighborhood, bad
Mhm.
condition, but the nice stuff, there's not a lot of it. And so even with applications down, like, the nice stuff feels super competitive.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's I've got real data. It's real people,
Yeah.
right?
No,
And it's
I talk to agents and mortgage brokers across the country, and one thing is clear: a clean house, nice neighborhood at or around the median price today is like a unicorn.
yeah.
And 7% rates is not stopping people going after unicorns because they've been trying for a while for the nice house in the nice neighborhood. What is impacting 7% rates is stuff significantly above the median, stuff that is a fixer, because again, you're not only putting it down, but then you have to pull out cash to fix them up. So one of the things that I'm seeing is, I don't know how to call this. Maybe it's shrinkflation, maybe it's downgrading. Basically, there were people that last year were searching for a house. Now they're going condo, or maybe they were looking for a 3,000 square foot house now and going for 2,000, because one of the thing is certain is demand is still there. And if we keep rates at 7%, I think we're going to see people go down the go downscale or downgrade. I'm not what else to call it. Are you seeing that in the data?
100%. And I'm seeing it, like, just from, like, as you say it, I'm thinking about, yep, that guy. Yep, she's doing that. And so both things, like you said, it's either a smaller single family that they're targeting now, or it's a condo. And I was thinking about this the other day, Mike, because there's a development, Roseville's right outside of Sacramento, beautiful area, family area. And I had a client text me, what do you think about this? 462 is like a smoking price for that area.
Mm.
Lennar, or maybe it's DR Horton, I'm not sure who it is building 3 2s that are 1,300 square feet, which is small.
Yeah.
A lot of new builds in that area went like 2,100, 24, 27
Yeah.
different models. So 13 for them is really small, and the lot super, super tiny.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, the client asked me, because he's thinking about it as, like a lot of one rental at a time folks. I'll buy it, I'll live in it, it'll eventually turn into rental. He's asking
Yeah.
me what it's going to be like as a rental. And I said, quite honestly, I don't know. I don't know of developments that are tiny homes on tiny lots, because we haven't seen them, but it got me thinking. And then you see San Antonio development where builders doing the
Yeah.
same thing. Like, quite honestly, Mike, this might be the answer. If we're
I
looking
think it
for,
I think it is absolutely part of the answer.
yeah,
I think San Antonio, I think it's Lennar in San Antonio. There was a one bedroom, one. When was the last time a builder built one bedroom, one baths?
those in San Antonio too are like 670 square feet or something, right?
661. Nuts.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's part of the answer, right? 661, a retiree, a widower, maybe a single person out of college. It makes sense. Smaller homes are the answer. Then I think in Paradise, Arizona, 997. I think it's Lennar. I don't know about Roseville, but Lennar is clearly doing this. And here's the deal. Once Lennar proves it's wildly profitable, other builders will follow. And we're going to here's a prediction for you. By the end of the year, the average square foot of a new home build is going to drop by 200 square feet or more.
Oh, at least. Yeah. I was going to throw out a number, like 25 to 30%. And if that, I don't know what the average is. I have no idea, but it's got to be around 2,000 square feet.
Yeah. No, it's
so
coming down.
Yeah. It's going to come down quite a bit. And so, yeah, that's just natural because we've been butting our heads up against this affordability issue for so long. Kudos to Lennar, to be quite honest, because the answer, me and you know it, for some reason, people in higher places haven't got the memo yet. Don't inject a steroid into the demand side. Don't create new programs.
No.
Create a product and supply that is cheaper. That's what solves the housing issue.
It's a supply. Again, you and I have ranted for years about all these demand-driven programs. If Lennar can prove it works, Pulte will follow. I don't think Toll Brothers follows. They're more high-end stuff. But then you'll get KB Homes, you'll get regional builders. And again, if we can get on a trend where the average new home square foot falls by 10, 20, 25%. And again, we're not talking your forever home. These 661, these 996, these 1,300 square foot homes, they are not meant to be your forever home. They are meant to be an entry level, get you on the property ladder, let you get some inflation goodness. This is part, and I dare say a big part of the answer. Oh, by the way, it's quicker to build smaller homes. You can build them because they're all templatized faster. This could be one of the significant things. So I hope Lennar wins. I hope other builders play copycat, and we can start building more smaller homes. It's part of the answer. It's not the only one.
100%. And for buyers, I like it. If a buyer comes to me and is like, this neighborhood is 600, I can buy this, tiny house or smaller house for 460 entry point, or I'd go buy a condo. Most condos, you've got HOA, not only dues, but rules, right? Yep. You've got to follow their rules. Did you see that thing that Pace Morby put out about the HOA?
Oh, I did, where he made the tenant 0.0001% owner to get around it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you got to have great people on your team like Pace to get around these wild rules that HOAs put in place. But to avoid that, like, I really think that it's going to be a great option for buyers when they come to me and they go, you know what? I want to be a homeowner. I've got a great job. I've got some money. Yeah. I don't want to go to the single family where my payment is $4,500 a month. All right, here's the small house, $3,500 a month. That equals your rent. And I'm going to be interested to see what these things turn into on the rental side, in the rental market, because I think that people would prefer to rent that as their own space versus,
no doubt,
an apartment or something else. And so,
yeah, let me ask you this. I mean, again, the, Class A, all the amenities versus your own yard, although small, and own backyard. Most people are giving me a house.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of investments too, like the client that brought me that one that's a small build was thinking about it as an investment. And I think that this client is doing it right. So I want to send a message to people that are, getting started on their investment journey, and they've got big dreams and audacious goals, and they've seen the fanciest of the fancy. This client of mine is like, what do you think if I bought one of these small ones and then moved out in a year and that became my rental? That's how most people get started. Most people don't get started with the scenario I get quite a lot, Mike, is, okay, there's a piece of land and on half of it, they've got, a commercial space. So what kind of financing can I get if I wanted to do ground up construction? And can I, do a down payment assistance and latch on this? Like, it is wild. I won't say it drives me crazy, because I just like talking to people and educating people, but
I'll say it drives me crazy. I'll say it.
You, as an investor and as a new investor, especially, get yourself on base. What was your first investment in real estate, Mike?
My first investment was a boring 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, single story on a quarter-acre lot. It needed like 3 or 4 grand of cleanup to move in. It was a simple,
Yeah.
it was a simple base hit. It got me in. It gave, and again, it kicked my ass. I mean, let's think about this. It was the most vanilla deal, 20% down at the time, 80% first. And even though we did everything right, the tenant kicked me in the nuts. I could not imagine doing a ground up development or a heavy fixer as my first deal. You know how many expensive lessons I could have learned, I could have been given?
Yeah. This
Uh,
is the lesson of the day. Your first deal should be a base hit. I think you should do this, Mike, and I'm going to do it too. Put out a poll or a
okay,
question on your channel for
sure.
tell us about your first investment. And I want to see that like 90% of the comments are
Oh yeah.
a single family, a condo, my primary that I moved out of and turned into investment. Like that's how most people get started. And then you get these little lessons in, oh, I didn't realize this about managing a property. I didn't
Mhm.
realize this about tenant screening. You
Yeah.
want to take this thing in small steps. You don't want to be jumping across, a 10-foot divide
No, you don't
for
want
your
to
first
risk your
deal.
life on your first deal. You want to
Right.
be able to get clean, simple, straightforward. I mean, let's just play this out, right? We bought 8 houses over the course of 3 or 4 years, all just simple, clean, right out of the MLS. Maybe anywhere from 0 to 5 grand in kind of cleanup. No real heavy fixing. It wasn't until we were in the game, man, 8 years before we started to get like, okay, let's flex our muscle a little bit. Let's try to add value. Yeah, we didn't do that for quite a
Right.
while.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, I think that everyone's journey is going to be different. But maybe it's the glamorizing of it on Instagram or somewhere else. People think that they've got to go.
It's the sizzle, baby. It's sizzle.
Yeah, it's really sizzly, but I promise you, I know so many people who have created massive wealth and they took baby steps doing simple stuff. Zuber started with a single family. I started with a single you I moved out of. I've got a client of mine who did the single family route 24 times, and him and his
No, there you
partner
go.
ended up, selling some of those, refinancing some of those, and now they've got a hotel that kicks off $90,000 a month. So like you start simple and you learn more, and then you just say, oh, I've got options. Do I
Yeah.
want to pull equity out? Do I want to sell? Do I want a 1031? Now that I've learned this, maybe I'll try that. That's how it works in real life. And, bless you if you're trying to put together the most complicated deal because you think complicated equals more money. It
Hmm.
generally doesn't. And what it will do, to your point, Mike, is like you'll risk your life on your first deal and then you won't be
Absolutely.
in the game anymore. So don't do that to yourself, please.
Yeah, don't do that. But folks, if you're getting out in the market, again, I do think 7% rates is causing demand to go down. I would be looking at days on market over 30. I would be looking for the ones, that Beth Traverso aren't don't look pretty. It's funny story, true story. Beth Traverso and I talk about yesterday how to stop bidding wars. And the third option is find poorly marketed properties. I kid you not. She sends me a text with a sample of a badly marketed property. And one of the pictures in the MLS has a giant pig on the porch that says, "Pig will be home if you want to see property."
That is not how you do it. And that's a good point, Mike. I looked at a
See if I can
house.
bring it up. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
I, I looked at a house with a buddy of mine. We're thinking about partnering and doing
There's a
something.
pig. There's a giant pig in the MLS listing.
And
Folks,
they
if you're
even
an
mentioned
agent,
the pig, that the pig will be home.
it did. It said, yeah, she says, from the photos, opportunity alert. Seller bought contingent, mid rehab. Come see the pig.
Come see the pig. Unbelievable. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is we all know not every agent, not every seller,
What are you doing?
is doing it right. So you find the ones that are doing it wrong. We went and looked at this house, Mike. So much potential. Probably only needs 40K in rehab, and if we pick it up at 400, it's worth 550. Whether we want to hold it, whether we want to, sell it. Impossible to get a hold of anybody. Lockbox. I've never seen a lockbox more hidden in my life. It was so hidden that, experienced investor, construction person I'm with to look at it, like couldn't find the lockbox. And so I'm like, if it's this hard and there's no pictures available, nobody knows that this deal exists, which is
Yeah.
the good thing for the
Yeah.
investor willing to do the work.
Write the low offer.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
I'll tell you more about that one if that thing comes to fruition. That should be a fun one.
There you go. At the end of the day, folks, there is opportunity out there. Do the work. Don't gamble. Don't try to make it overcomplicated. Base hits are okay. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and your team to see what's what, how do they do that?
Greatmortgagebroker.com. And I failed to mention it earlier, but I want to mention it here because literally, like, as I got off the phone and jumped on this call, it was a 12-minute call from somebody who watches the channel, and I still love it so much. Just giving people great advice. It was advice that had nothing to do with mortgage, based on where they're at, trying to consolidate some debt, trying to clear some stuff out, not in a position where a mortgage is going to make sense. They're going to have bad terms based on, credit challenges due to debt. And so I was reminded how much I enjoy that. Not turning in any business, just helping somebody out.
Yeah.
You, Mike, are a great example of that, where if you haven't been told directly, I got told by dozens of people, one rental at a time, man, Mike has helped me immensely. The things that I've learned and the way this is going to change my family's trajectory is amazing. And so kudos to you for creating the great one rental at a time community. As a part of the community, I truly want to do whatever I can to help people out. We're licensed in 48 states. So I talked to somebody in Florida. We got a deal in contract in Tennessee yesterday. We're doing stuff all over the place. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, connect with me and the team. If you've got feedback, if you talk to someone and you didn't like what you got, here's the hack that I tell people from one end at a time. Say you want to talk to Matt, and guess what's going to happen? They'll connect you with Matt.
I want to talk to Matt.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the hack.
Yeah. Give me the
All right,
manager.
Yeah. Escalate. All right, brother. Take care of yourself. We'll talk next week.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Mike.